It's a public charter school. If you live between Broadway on the west and Haven on the east, and Eastern Avenue on the north and Boston Street to the south of us, then you automatically have a seat here. And it takes a lot of tending, but the garden club comes out and works on it with Miss Demas, who's our food educator. We have parent volunteers who come. We have both staff and parents who will come help water, make sure that we have plenty of water for the garden. We're growing watermelon and various herbs, cucumbers, peppers and tomatoes and corn, squash and beans and strawberries. We have more herbs back here, lettuce, our compost heap. Parents donated these teak sitting areas, benches. We give Miss Demas a half a class, and we built this kitchen for her. Out of the way.
Sure.
Is that fresh basil?
So the curriculum is sensory-based. The purpose is to engage all five senses and create a memorable experience with food that's positive. It takes a hands-on approach to teaching kids about nutritious food. It's based on whole foods, real foods, and it breaks down kind of complex nutrition concepts into very simple, very tangible concepts that the kids understand. Like eat for color. For example, the vitamins. I teach the kids about the vitamins based on the colors of the food. So we're ready to start sauteing the onions.
You want to try basil?
Excellent job. Lunch.
You guys are going to eat this all yourselves, right?
I'm sure there's enough for a sample if these guys want
Oh yeah, you want a sample? The other thing with not forcing people to try things is the no yuck rule, which is really important. And the no yuck rule is simply that, like I said, you don't have to taste the food, you don't have to like it, because we all have different taste buds, but you can never say anything negative. No ew, no yuck. Because if I allowed kids to say ew, nasty, then it would just spread like wildfire.
Like I was telling you, the pizza is a whole wheat crust. They generally have a whole fruit. Today it's sliced peaches. You got it. No, we could produce.
Basically ready to go.
Staff would be the issue. We would need staffing and.
It was the Bragg School. That was started in '53, and I believe it was open until the '70s, the early '70s. Years after that, it was a Nature Studies Center, a Horticultural Skills Center, and the Grounds Division actually had a base out here, and they would grow all the landscaping plants for the city schools.
Oh,
so
so the school kept control of it and just used it. Okay.
Yeah, and so that's when, that's when these greenhouses came into play, and the third greenhouse on the other side, and you know, the bridge was built across the creek in the scenarios. And then it just kind of waned off it really didn't take long for it to kind of wane off. The resources weren't there to keep up on maintenance, and then people retired and then people got pulled away from the site, and it happened really over a 5 to 10 year period. And for the past 2 years, there really hasn't been much use at all of this place.
Tomatoes looking awesome.
Yeah, man, we're gonna be eating well.
Looking good.
It becomes a transfer, you know.
How much money does it cost to get this thing from the state it was in last fall to where it is now?
What we've put into the fields.
And how'd you find the money?
It's
So the
4
kindness
digits.
of strangers.
Yeah, it's 4 digits is what we're looking at for what.
It's 4 digits.
Which is nothing. It's another perfect example. We, our good friends at Good Contrivance Organic Farm up in Tawnytown, Maryland, have given us these goats to help us clear up the site,
Clear the field.
So
they gave them to you.
So we didn't. Yeah. So we don't need money to rent, a backhoe for 2 months and all that stuff. We
Buy pesticide and the goats clear the fields, aerate the land, fertilize the land, do the whole deal without a coffee break, and they're happy to do it. And they eat all of these, invasive species that are like growing here with like no sort of problems to them physically, and also it gives us an opportunity to show children that there are alternative ways of doing things. When we brought the goats out, it was as though we had a herd of unicorns here, Oh, yeah. We literally had, 200 people show up over a weekend, the first weekend, to see the goats. It's like driving up here. So you drive up like a National Pike. Like we are in the heart of Babylon. Look around you, I mean, there's strip malls and there's fast food places and there's everything that is the sort of epitome of what fat America is all about. And then you find this little place up here. You find this little piece of earth that is like this pilgrim in an unfriendly world, that's sort of making a comeback here. Those greenhouses are full of little kids that are like coming out here and seeing this and thinking to themselves that there's something different, there's something maybe better out there than what is currently being offered.
These are microgreens, which we seed every week, we plant them every week, we harvest them every week. It's a great educational platform because there's always something to do in here. One of the products that we sell to restaurants, so it was a revenue source for the farm very early on in the winter when we didn't have a lot of educational platforms in the field. We were really using this a lot, and the kids would harvest, we'd send them to the restaurants and they'd eat them up that night. It's just a great system.
Again, it goes back to people sort of recognizing that there's value here, that there's something bigger than what's going on, and they see that the success of this thing is success that can be replicated. There are great farms to school programs around the country, tons of. So this is happening everywhere. This is not just happening here. Right. We're the first to really make this happen on a grand scale. Our vision ultimately is that the Great Kids Farm becomes a training center for food service directors around this country. We're hoping to set up a little tent city over here, so in the summertime we can have directors come, spend a week here, work on the farm, cook in our cook in our kitchens, see this, arm them, give them the educational packets and lesson plans so they can go back to their schools and do this. And we want to be like an anchor for our colleagues around the country. An anchor for kids.